Hello, welcome to my allotment in South Manchester, England. Middle of June 2011. It's been a difficult year with a dry April, followed by a very chilly May and so far June. This is a flower border at the front. Unfortunately, as noted, the cold weather's perhaps stopped some of the bedding plants blooming as much as they could have. Did a fair bit of work over the winter putting in raised beds due to my heavy clay soil. That's a side view, but fortunately there's a couple of bramleys there that stop the view of the back two halves which are together. I've got cobnuts, hazelnuts, filberts I think in America, with a couple of fruit trees, a Canadian sunset cherry over there, James Grieve which does alright, Cox type apple up in the north of England. The hedge is made of myrobalan plum, 5-6 years to establish. Wild plum, some slow berries which are quite nice, and I wouldn't have had these in elderberry, they're too vigorous and not branching enough. I'd remove them if I do it again. A few rudimentary herbs along the front, some baby sage, lavender, bits of parsley, mint, what do we call this? Tarragon. I think it's French, but it's flowering, so it might be French. Sorry, Russian. Row of chives, which are continuously split. I'm limited as to what grows here. It's west facing, and our view of the allotment is directly west, for which we get the westerlies quite bad. Plum Victoria. It's quite good because it's sheltered by the shed, and it means due to this aspect they're slightly later than the others. Couldn't do much with the side of the shed, so it's largely planted up with flowers. I did have a large kiwi here, can't remember, I think it's Jenny, but it died back in the wind. Fortunately it's coming back down here. This is the first arch into the main bit, and the second arch which goes through to the back. So if we walk through here, you see my cluttered shed. Mr. Owl. I've got cherry here over the arch, that's Stella. I struggle with the birds, so I'm deciding to grow it over the arch to protect them. Summer raspberries, I can't remember the name of the variety. Several vines which produce enough. Hanging baskets for climbing bush type tomatoes. Another more vigorous Actindia kiwi over on the side, which we can have a look at after. The odd soft fruit brush, gaps filled in with flowers. Pear Beth, second year of producing after 6 years, gorgeous. Feltham First Peas, Autumn Giant, English celery, Spanish garlic, my main English garlic's in. The dwarf Sutton, all of 4 feet, closing on 5. These are my raised beds, the universal bed system. I can clad them in netting, leave them open, or make them into mini greenhouses. This is kind of one I've closhed, it's a bit tight in here. A couple of apples in here, including gala, which don't do that well up here, but the shelter seems to make them great. Hedge on the other side, and my neighbour's put in here. 100 weight seems to do the best on here, although there's also Atlantic Giant in there, dills. Outdoor tomato Shirley, which seems to do well. I'm just finishing first batches of coriander. Various beets, as we can see, and leaves. These are going to be ready to come out, and they're slowly coming out, and I've got some in the cold frame ready to transplant. Rocket. I've had a batch of celery or so far. The taller ones are Thai celery, they do in about 4 months. I replanted with English celery, slightly longer. Some spinach over there, which we've had. A netted up brassica bed, for which we've got all year round Scottish kale, red bull, sprouts, normal sprouts, Trafalgar I think. Some loose headings, celery, red kohlrabi, cylindria beetroot. An attempt over there at doing an outdoor cucumber gherkin national, although the weather's just not been too kind. another pair, which I think is Concord or Conference. I did this trellis so I could do a little bit of a flower display, some dahlias in there and something sweet pea. Lisa Craig selected the biggest from seed, some Thai dill, sweet corn, nice bed of spring onions. Onions are doing well. I think I need to stamp on the ground because they always fall over and don't look as though they're doing well, but I have big ones. I just need to crush the ground. My hazel hedge in the background, which just produced some when the squirrels aren't busy. Beans, and under here I've got a red Thai bean, which I've had to do twice because of the weather. Another Atlantic giant. Radicchio, I wouldn't have put them in as early, they've been in about 2 months. I've beefed some up now in the greenhouse and just re-put them in. French beans, carrots, oregano, fennel, quite like the odd bit of that. It's underneath the makeshift cloche. Going back down into the next third. Mizuna had tons of this. Fortunately I do them in lime, and the beans, which are slow, the climbing ones, Blue Lake and Cobra. That's some alderman, but not the best. White kohlrabi, water collection system off my greenhouse, which I made from an oversized cold frame. Turnips, which I had to resow due to the weather. Some rat's tail radish, where you eat the seeds. A batch of pak choy. Down here is a bed of spring onions coming up for the runner beans, and these are aldermen which have hit 8 feet, I think, and going over. Fortunately it looks like there might be a bit of rain on the way. Tried these Japanese pumpkins, or Japanese squashes. Squashes never do well here if it's not on a warmer of July or August, but this might work. There's some setting. Shallots planted last autumn, need to beef up. And there's my 2 bean frames, which are 8 feet, specifically for beans. Some alleged Marmande trying outdoors. That's kind of on my next half plot next door, which I won't look at the moment. Unfortunately my greenhouse is closed and I don't have the key. Perhaps we can have I think that's a reasonable view. Aubergines at the end, Thai cucumbers, Thai tomatoes, some round eggplants which are doing okay for the time of year, and I've got some chilies, Wilco cheap chili, which always are quite hot when you let them go red, Fresno, and the bush type variety which need a long growing season and are a perennial. As to whether they'll work that far back we need to know. The border I've just done with some salads because my edge of the path's a bit untidy. The raised beds at the back because it floods again. These were done originally so they don't have this universal bed design. Drainage, as you can see, don't ask me why I've not done it on this side. I built the cold frame first and had a gap across the farway. Main crop, Maris Pia, broccoli Samson. They love it here because it's soaking, beginning to get some heads. Pink fir. Transplanted some autumn raspberries, so they're not that great yet. Cranberry, which is done in a mat underneath to make it as wet as possible. Fill this up with ericaceous soil, and a row of blueberries which are beginning to have good crops off. Strawberries, maybe getting 1 or 2. Mine are a bit later than everyone else's, and I think I'm going to replace this bed. Tavoy Savoy, Thai cabbage, another one, cabbage, green rich. They're hearting up very well and look pretty good. Ruby red, and those tall Italian Romanesco, that's it, they're huge. Cauliflower, soft fruit, rhubarb which died back, I've pulled and it's coming back. Transplanted hedge which I might have to redo with my Rabalan baby pond, and just the last of the red cabbages. Those are Brunswick, they grow massive and I love this soaking wet. The other half over there is full of gooseberries down here, which I've got a bit of an infestation due to the tight nature of their growing, of American mildew, which I think I might have to cut these all back and thin them out. A dead olive. More raspberries of autumn variety. Thai cabbage. These beds I've done are protected at the ends with corrugated plastic and they help shelter the netting for obvious reasons. These are about 24 feet. Mr. Spring onions, not bad. This was where my garlic, main crop garlic was, and it's out, and I've got some Spanish at the end. Large amount of compost bins. Coal frame, which has got 2 levels and get about 32 sets of trays in here. Another set of vines. More drainage. Another pumpkin interplanted with courgettes and garlic, which is due to come out. Can't see through that. And another small coal frame which has some shells to be put in, and I'm using this as a flower coal frame. Some melons in there, but whether they'll do anything this year. But I've got the luxury of space. My child's bed. Doesn't sleep here, it's where he grows stuff. More salad pak choy. Some accidental bindweed. Another pear needs tidying up, it's got infection. These are the Himalayan berry. I just can't think of a name. Goji berry. Took a few years to establish. Very low lying, so it's soaked. The celery does brilliant. Waste of space greenhouse, so I largely use it for seedlings. Jerusalem artichoke needs tidying up with the pots. Successful asparagus I grew from seed. F1 male, I should have done some more really. Some soft fruit on the boundary. Basil. Leftover cucumbers. The greenhouse is too small to retain heat and stabilise it properly, so I largely use it for seedlings. Mixed hybrid berry, tayberry I think. Going to the boundary, and so another mixed blackberry gooseberry mix. A load of gooseberries and mix down behind the coal frame. You get an idea of, it doesn't look pretty. It doesn't look as pretty as the hedge, but it's probably more effective because I don't lose as much land. And then the back halves I've merely grassed over. You have to leave a number of feet at the back for access. So I don't think you've seen a good view of the greenhouse. It's quite hidden because it's low lying. I might walk along the other boundary, as you can see. There it is. Pays for itself in terms of chilies. Most people who expect to pay nothing for growing things are kind of, well, not in agreement with me. White currants, soft fruit, Glaston's perpetual, rhubarb. Mother gave me the seed, so I had to grow it. Along a brassic bed. This floods this area, so I need the raised beds. We get another view in the greenhouse, the window, and along the side, soft fruit, red filbert. Get a nice view again of bean frames. This is the the kiwi that wasn't damaged by the wind. As you can see, I've jungle gardening, tree gardening, I can't remember the proper name. Down on the bottom where it's wet, I've got shade liking rhubarb, climbing with vines, kiwi, and as you saw before, the hanging tomatoes off there. The east facing hedge, I don't really have a great deal growing underneath. There's being closed, I don't know what you'd call it, it's kind of an outside cloche, but it seems to work. Some more tarragon and my cherry. I want it flat like a Japanese one, so I suppose I need to cut the ends to bush it. I've had to tie it down to the frame. And then back to the flower border. Along the way you may have seen some insect houses, the small boxes, the white tubes, and you may have seen the odd birdhouse. There's 3 around, there's one. I hope you like my allotment. I do. Bye.